classes I took were psychology because I love people. I love to help people and really try to understand them. When I started selling copiers, I really got into the mortgage industry in a really funny way. I tried to sell a copier to a mortgage broker, and I was pretty relentless, and so he liked my sales resilience, I guess you would say, and offered me a job in mortgages, and I took it.
Oh,
So
nice.
that's
So
kind of
that's
my
how you kind of got
background.
into the industry of loans, huh?
That's right. And that was way back in 84, 85. So been doing this for almost 40 years. And I love it.
That's amazing. All right, so we're gonna get down to the questions that I know everybody's wanted to hear. I know I would have loved to have something like this growing up, to learn about the buying a home and what it takes to get a loan. So I'm gonna ask you your first question. So let's say if you're trying to buy your home for the very first time, like you're right out of college, what can you kind of do to prepare yourself for that process, and like what are the steps, and like how long should you kind of prepare yourself for the process?
So you never can start too early, Terica. I always recommend that if anyone's even thinking about buying a home, even if they know it's not going to be for a year, 5 years from now, go ahead and get pre approved. The way to do that is call me, text me, email me that you're interested, and then I will direct you to my website, which is just my name, www.shannonsommers.com. There you see an apply button, and you would hit the apply button. It's no cost, no obligation, so nothing to be afraid of there. You basically, it's a Q&A type application form. So you're just answering questions. You go to the next screen, you answer the questions. You're going to know all those questions off the top of your head more than likely. Then that initiates the pre-approval process. Again, whether it's to buy something tomorrow or 5 years from now, because it's always good to do a thorough check on your credit, all three bureaus, and look at what the down payment and closing cost requirements are, so you know if you have enough cash or not. Do you need to borrow? Can you take money out of a retirement fund? Can you get a gift from a parent? Those types of things. And we're looking at not just credit and assets, but of course, income to debt ratio. What that is where we take the projected house payment, also known as PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. It's a pity we have to pay for our mortgages, but that's the way it is. And we add that to your monthly debt, and we divide that by your gross monthly income. And we make sure that that's in line as well. So the combination of those things aforementioned are how we find out if you indeed would qualify now, or if we need to set up a goal of how can you get to the point where you will be pre-approved. What will that take? How much money do I need to set aside, for example, each month? What do I need to do to repair my credit or build credit if I don't have any? That type of thing.
Okay. Is there like a particular score that you have to have as far as being pre-approved?
Yes, absolutely. So the scores are for VA and FHA. So VA is for veterans.
Mm-hmm.
That's a zero down loan for our veterans. And that's zero down, and the minimum credit score for VA is 500.
Okay.
That's considered very, very low in our industry. So VA has their standards, and the lender can have what are called overlays. So another lender might require a 600 credit score for a veteran. It's up to both the VA, but then on top of that, the lender's requirements. So we're very, very forgiving on the credit score for VA. FHA is also 500 minimum middle credit score, and that's again considered very low. And so a lot of people that think that they won't qualify because they have maybe a 550 credit score, they wouldn't know that, right? Unless they got in touch with me and I could walk them through that. And then for convention, and by the way, FHA is mostly for first time home buyers.
Mm-hmm.
It's a government guarantee, insured loan. So we make all the loans, we the lender, and then VA guarantees them FHA insures them so that we can make riskier loans than we otherwise could. And then conventional loans are not government backed, and those require a minimum of a 620 credit score, middle credit score.
Okay. Good to know. Cause yeah, like a first time home buyer probably wouldn't know nothing about the FHA. So that was good to know. Cause I thought you had to have like a 550 or above. So that was definitely
Most
good to know.
people do.
Yeah.
Most people do. And you always want to have the best credit you can, Terica, because the better your score, the better rate you're going to get in general.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Now you touched over a little bit about the FHA. Is there any other programs that's available for like first time home buyers?
Yes, FHA really is designed for first-time homebuyers. A lot of people don't know that. It's not just for first-time homebuyers, but it's really was built on that idea. Another program we have is Hometown Heroes. That is a special down payment assistance program offered by the state of Florida for all frontline workers. It's for first-time homebuyers only. But there are exceptions. For example, if one of the spouses in a couple has never owned a home, then that couple would qualify. Also, there are exceptions for veterans. If you're going VA Hometown Heroes, you don't have to meet that requirement for being a first time home buyer. Also, another exception is if you haven't owned a home for 3 years, you're considered a first time home buyer. So if you owned a home 10 years ago and you sold it say 5 years ago, you haven't owned a home for three years, you're considered a first time home buyer again. So under Hometown Heroes, again, you get the down payment assistance. There are different parameters for that, and I can always walk the customer through that, the borrower. And let's see, it is for FHA. We have Hometown Heroes for FHA, VA, and conventional.
Okay.
And there are income limits for that, Terica.
Okay.
For example, in Hillsborough and Pinellas counties where we reside, the maximum income is 123,150.
Oh, okay.
Also, there's a limit on FHA and USDA loans, maximum loan amount of 420,680.
Okay.
And for Hometown Heroes for conventional and VA loans, we can go loan amounts all the way up to 647,200.
Oh, okay.
And the income limit is across the board on each program: USDA, FHA, VA, and conventional. And folks are probably wondering, what is a USDA loan?
Mm-hmm.
We don't see a lot of those here in the city of Tampa because it's a big city. When you go into the outskirts, there are map areas that allow for USDA financing. USDA is really for those more remote areas,
Mm-hmm.
and it does offer a zero down component as well.
Okay.
So if folks are interested in finding out if a property they're interested in is in a USDA zone, we would simply look it up on the maps and I can help them with that.
Yeah, I was about to ask you that. Is there a lot of properties here? Since I know Tampa is a very city bound place, but I know there's some areas that might be. So that's good to know. You can
Yeah,
just look it up.
it would definitely be outside of Tampa. So it
Mm-hmm.
would be the surrounding areas that are more, country type areas where there's not a lot of population.
Oh, okay. All
Mhm.
right. So let's say you have like a renter that's been renting for a long time, and they're kind of like fearful actually buying a house because they don't know. They're scared maybe their credit score may not be up to par.
Mhm.
What would you say as far as trying to convince them to buy a home instead of renting because they've been doing it for so long?
So what I would suggest is that they allow me to do a rent versus purchase analysis. I have a wonderful one that shows how much wealth you build. In other words, kind of like money in the bank through your equity of your home. So, for example, I just purchased a home in March, and I did the rent versus buy analysis on myself, and at a meager appreciation rate, appreciation's where the value of the house goes up over time. Um, with a meager rate of 3.4 plugged in, I would have accumulated wealth of approximately $380,000 after only 10 years. That's a lot of, I mean, that's enough for me to retire. So, or for most folks to be able to retire. So, it's really interesting to look at that analysis because a lot of folks don't realize that they're going to um, build this wealth through a couple different mechanisms. One is they're going to have tax savings because they can write off taxes interest on their income taxes each year. They will have the appreciation rate, again, using 3.4, that was very meager. The actual appreciation rate in Tampa, for example, is well over 10%. So what would that mean? That would mean instead of $380,000, you're now looking at closer to $1 million of
Wow.
accumulated wealth just on one house for me.
Wow.
And the same for any other renter out there that needs to take a look at this analysis. It can be jaw dropping really to
Hmm.
look at this. So I think it's great for those folks that are on the fence.
Yeah, that definitely. I mean, if I would have seen something like that, as far as seeing how much I'm paying every month compared to,
Hmm.
actually buying a house and having money
Right.
coming back, that would have made a big difference.
And the rents keep going up, and they're going to continue because we're in a housing shortage, and that's not going to go away anytime soon. It's a large shortage, and we just keep having folks moving into this area from out of state. So we're really looking at a situation that is not going to go away anytime soon. The other accumulating wealth factor is, in addition to the appreciation, is that um, you're going to have not only those rents are going up, but you're going to have appreciation in the form of as you make each payment, you start out with principal and interest and you end up with principal and interest, but the amount of your payment that goes to principal versus interest changes back dramatically over time. So in the beginning of your loan, you pay more towards interest, and eventually it becomes like mid in the middle of the loan, it becomes more towards principal than interest. Well, what is principal? Principal is money that bought is bringing your loan balance down, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as you bring your loan balance down and more goes to principal, that means you're building equity. Okay, so you build equity not just from appreciation, but also from just making your payment every month.
So it actually pays you to actually own a home.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's definitely
It's
good to
the
know.
backbone of America, really, Terica. It really is.
Yeah, and it's sad. Like a lot of people don't know that. Think renting is cheaper, and then they don't really think about basically considering like a legacy for your family every time you purchase a home.
Absolutely.
So that's awesome. So what are like some options? I know you said a little bit about like the first time home buyers, but what are some options for people that may have less than perfect credit?
So again, that's what I'm here for. A lot of these companies out there, they profess to help you with your credit. A lot of them are scammers. So you really want to deal with a professional. And I am very passionate about what I do. And I'll help you whether your credit score is 400 or it's 800. It doesn't matter to me. And I'm passionate about helping folks that if you're motivated as a potential borrower, aka a buyer, and your score is low, I will help you as much as you help yourself. What I mean by that is I'll look at your credit, I'll tell you what I suggest you do. If you're, let's assume you're below 500 on your middle credit score, I'll give you exact steps on what to do to either fix your credit or build your credit. Now, if you take my advice and you run with it, then we have a marriage. We can work together till we get you your dream home. And I'm very passionate about that. What I won't do is, give you what to do. I follow up with you and you haven't done any of it. I can't do it on my own. It has to be, again, that marriage where we work together. But again, I'm passionate about it. So as long as the borrower is passionate as well and does the ascribed game plan, then we can get you into a home.
Yeah, I love that. Definitely. Because yeah, there's a lot of people out there that says they'll fix your credit for a certain fee and then they end up
Right.
not doing anything. So I'm glad that you're actually
And I'm
willing to work with
free.
them.
I
Yeah,
don't get paid until we close on on the house. So you can, so we would both be very vested in that regard.
that's great.
Mhm.
What would you say to like a young person that's right out of college that doesn't really know about like the home buyer process? They don't know about the loans. even like
Again,
FHA.
it really it's funny because so many of your questions that you shared with me in advance kind of lead back to the same road, Terica,
Mm-hmm.
where if you call me, all you do is call me, and I will help you.
Mm-hmm.
I work 7 days a week, and once we get in touch with each other, we talk a little bit just to figure out what the game or what their dreams are, what their goals are, they being the potential buyer, and then lead them to the website again. Because what we want to do is look at those pillars of checking your credit, looking at your debt ratios, what are the assets that are needed, and what programs would meet all of those situations. And so that again, that kind of pathway is really the same for anybody that's interested in eventually owning a home.
Awesome. So, like for the people that are listening, may have some extra questions about the FHA and trying to buy a house. Can you
Hmm.
repeat like where can they contact you or email you so that they can
Yes.
get in touch with you?
So my phone number is 813-760-3411. That's my cell,
Okay.
direct. And again, that's 813-760-3411. And then my website is where you can apply or just look around and see some of the services that we offer, and who is cross country, that type of thing, is www.shannonsommers, that's SHANNON, Summers altogether, no period, SOMMERS.com. My email address, if you'd rather email me, is Shannon, SHANNON .Sommers, SOMMERS, so that one does have a dot in it,
Mm-hmm.
at my, like MY, CC Mortgage, at CCMORTGAGE.com.
Perfect. Because I know a lot of the listeners that's watching today probably going to contact you, want to know some particulars. So I just want to
I sure
say
hope
thank you
so.
for taking the time to do this because, like I said, if I would have had something like that when growing up, this would have been amazing to know.
Absolutely, my pleasure, Terica. Thanks for having me.
All right. You have a wonderful day and thank you again.
You too. Bye.
Bye.